Podcasts are hot right now. How do I know? Well, you're listening to one right now, aren't you? But you might be wondering, how on earth do I get my voice out there and start my own podcast? It all seems so intimidating. Between hosting and platforms and monetization, it can get real complicated real quick. Well, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. We started this podcast over 2 years ago, not knowing clue one on how to do it. So how do we do it? We did it with Anchor. Anchor is the free podcast app with creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. And Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on all the platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. And everybody likes money, right? Well, you can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So go right now, download the free Anchor app, or go to Anchor FM to get started. It's the eCommerce Minute, your daily dose of e-commerce, tech, and retail news with your host, John Suder, Bart, Mroz, and Brittany Blackman. The eCommerce Minute is a production of SUMO Heavy, a digital commerce consulting firm located in Brooklyn, New York, and Philadelphia. Find us on the web at sumoheavy.com. It's eCommerce Minute, episode 697.
In today's episode, you probably need a haircut.
One of the most sorely missed non-essential services right now are grooming services. At this point, a lot of us are way past our typically scheduled trim dates. Not to mention those of you who get their hair professionally dyed are probably beginning to see your roots again. But we have to do what we have to do at this time, so relatively speaking, these are minor complaints. But luckily, there's a new virtual company that is here to help us through these shaggy times. The website is called You Probably Need a Haircut, and it lets people book a video call with a professional barber for $18. It's a win-win for everyone, according to founder Greg Eisenberg. The site currently works with a couple dozen barbers whom clients can choose when they book an appointment. While people will need to have the tools at home, the expertise from a professional will hopefully help turn a potential haircut failure into a success. Eisenberg said, quote, "A barbershop is a warm and inviting place, and we aim to recreate that in your home. People can expect friendly banter from their new barber and hand-holding through the cutting process. When you book an appointment, you get a Zoom link, so the hand-holding is done via video chat," end quote. You Probably Need a Haircut gives most of its $18 fee to the barbers, but takes a $3.60 cut to help pay for the fees of running the website. There's also an option to leave a $5 tip for the barber. David Legault, a Montreal-based barber, said he was skeptical at first, but decided to see if he could help people in quarantine. He said, quote, "To be honest, initially when Greg came to me and asked me to give people virtual haircuts, I thought he was crazy. Well, I just gave one to a 19-year-old girl who gave her boyfriend a haircut. Let's just say I turned what would have been a 1 out of 10 haircut into an 8 out of 10 haircut. That's well worth the $18, end quote. Rest assured, You Probably Need a Haircut isn't the only option. For a modest fee, regular salons are tangling with Zoom and Skype appointments as well. Everyone's got to pivot.
Yeah, they do.
This is funny.
Shaggy.
It is funny. I think it's a great idea.
Me,
I ain't cutting my own hair. Go ahead, Brittany.
yeah, I was just about to say, it's a really good idea in theory, especially if you're somebody that just, like, in general has skilled hands. But, like, I have very unsteady hands. Like, in fact, I don't know if I experienced nerve damage at some point in my 22 years of life that I just forget about because my hands are that unsteady. Like, I could not picture myself even at the direction of, like, a virtual barber cutting myself for, like, Tyler's hair or anything like that. Like,
Right.
I personally couldn't. But it's really cool for those who are confident enough to do so.
Yeah, so one of the things I like to say is in crisis always presents opportunities, and we were seeing a lot of businesses, turning and pivoting and figuring out how the hell they're going to make money throughout this time. And I think, obviously the one big sector that's been affected is the personal, the one-on-one type of services where you need to be really close to someone, and that obviously is hairstylists and barbers. What the hell are they going to do, And this is the only way that you can do it virtually. But I think people are, and I'm not going to use the word desperate, but eager enough to attempt to cut their own hair, just, I guess, to give themselves a little bit of that dignity back, and also just to get their hair out of their eyes. Again, I'm just going to continue to wear a baseball hat until I can get my hair cut properly, because if I try to cut my hair, I'm going to look like the owner of the Raiders, that guy that has a really bad haircut, full haircut. Yeah, that's a no-go zone for me. How about you, Bart? Would you cut your own hair?
No. Probably not. The only way that would work would be just to buzz.
Shave it, right?
But I was going to say, John, you've seen me after 4.5 months.
I have some good pictures. We'll put up on the SUMO Heavy Twitter account. No, we won't do that. But yeah, it's a great idea. There's some good quotes here. Quote, "You saved my life. My boyfriend looked hideous," said one review from a customer named Sarah in West Hollywood, California. Michael Duncan, who lives in Brooklyn, New York, also gave his experience high marks. "Things were looking grim," he said. "I never thought I could give myself a decent cut. Steve from Montreal hooked me up."
These are so dramatic, these reviews. It's so funny.
Life.
It's so fitting. It's so, like, I love that. That's hilarious. People are wild about their hair. It's like you really realize in times of crisis that people are wild about their hair.
Yeah, people really show who they are when you can see the roots. Britt, what's this one about in Virginia?
Oh, yeah. It's just how their rules are different. So, like, they could actually, if you have, like, a hairdresser or a barber that you've gone to for a while, you can actually make private house calls for them to, like, drop stuff off or...
So as long as they don't come in their house, so they can cut your hair, they can cut your hair on the stoop?
Yep.
Okay, I guess that's okay. I mean, they should.
If need be.
You know, everybody has their own interpretation of what's safe now. It's like I go in the grocery store and the guy's standing there, he's talking to somebody, he's got a mask, but his whole nose is hanging out. I'm like, that's not how this works, sir.
Right.
All right, close this one with a little stat time. Among small business owners, including hair salons and barbershops, 71% fear they'll never get back on their feet in the wake of the economic crisis sparked by COVID-19, according to a survey by LendingTree. And nearly 1 out of every 2 entrepreneurs say they've taken on debt to survive, while 34% say they have tried to get aid but were not approved, and 69% say they do not have enough money to keep operating for another 90 days. Those are some grim statistics. Yeah, this sector is really suffering. You know, the only way to do it is get people back together, and I don't see that happening anytime soon in a safe way.
Right.
All right, guys, got anything else?
Nope.
All right, sounds like somebody's giving a haircut outside, so we're going to end this one. That's your e-commerce minute for today. We'll see you on the internet tomorrow. That's it for today's show. If you like the show, do us a favor and subscribe, or leave us a review on iTunes. And don't forget, you can now listen to the e-commerce minute on your Amazon device. Just add e-commerce minute to your flash briefing. And finally, if you have a comment or suggestion, or just want to say hi, find us on social media @SUMO Heavy.